Today, we delve into the controversial world of Gary Gensler, the chairman of the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC. Join us as we explore his rise to power, his shifting views on cryptocurrencies, the battle with the industrial giants, and even a surprising twist involving his past. Let's jump into it. Gary Gensler, born on October 18, 1957, is an American government official and former Goldman Sachs investment banker. After being nominated by President Joseph R. Biden, he assumed office as SEC chairman on April 17, 2021, following his confirmation by the U.S. Senate. But how did he get here? Before leading the SEC, Gensler served as chairman of the Commodity Future Trading Commission, the CFTC, from 2009 to 2014, where he played a key role in implementing regulations in response of the 2008 financial crisis. Later, he joined MIT as a professor teaching courses on blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies, which provided him some exposure to the crypto world. While at MIT, Gensler's initial stance suggested that most cryptocurrencies were commodities, not securities. However, his outlook seems to have evolved significantly since then. Presently, he classifies nearly all crypto assets except for Bitcoin as security, causing surprise and debate within the crypto community.
We already know in the U.S. and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs or not what would be called securities. Even in the U.S., Canada, and Taiwan, the three jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto.
Clearly, an asset cannot be both a commodity and a security. Do you agree?
Actually, all securities are commodity under the Commodity and Exchange Act. It's that we are excluded commodities. But I would agree that a security cannot be also an excluded commodity and an included commodity. I'm sorry, Chair, just to talk about the Commodity Exchange Act more precisely.
Okay, so do you recognize, how would you categorize Ether then?
Look, I think that the general sweep of what Congress did, not just in the 30s, but as amended.
I'm asking you, sitting in your chair now, to make an assessment under the laws as exist. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to anyone.
I know you've repeatedly said you're not going to speak to one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin. So I'm asking you to speak to a second one, the second largest market cap here.
And speaking to the tokens, there's 10 to 12,000. If there's a group of entrepreneurs in
I'm asking
middle,
about one.
The public is anticipating a profit based on the...
I'm asking you a specific question, Chair Gensler. I said this in private. This should be no shock to you. I'm asking this question. Is Ether a commodity or a security?
And again, it depends on the facts and the law, and if there's a group of individuals...
I'm asking you about the facts and the law sitting in your seat and the judgment you are making.
And so, Mr. Chair, I think you would not want me to prejudge because I'm also...
But you have prejudged on this. You've taken 50 enforcement actions. We're finding out as we go, as you file suit, as people get Wells notices on what is a security in your view, in your agency's view. I'm asking you a very simple question about the second largest digital asset. What is your view?
And my view is if there's a group of individuals in the middle that the public is anticipating...
All right, so let me just ask a second question then. Do you think it serves the market for an object to be viewed by the commodities regulator as a commodity and the securities regulator to be viewed as a security? Do you think that provides safety and soundness for the product? Do you think it provides consumer protection? Do you think it serves the value of innovation? I think no should be a very simple answer for you here.
I think
that uncertainty is bad, is it not?
And I think that Congress has said that there's one agency, the Securities and Exchange Commission, under this committee.
And you won't answer my question, and you're the head of that agency. So give me a break. Come on.
Speculation arises regarding the factors behind Gensler's change of heart. Some suggest that Wall Street and traditional finance giant, perceiving cryptocurrencies as a threat to their establishment systems, might have influenced his stance. However, we must explore all angles before drawing conclusions. In a twist of events, information has recently emerged about Gensler's past. Finance lawyers allege that in 2019, while Gensler was a lecturer at MIT, he sought to work as an advisor to Binance, the leading global crypto exchange. Meetings and even a lunch with Binance founder CZ were allegedly part of these discussions. If true, this raises concerns about potential conflicts of interest and adds an intriguing layer to Gensler's involvement in the crypto industry. While controversies surround Gensler, it's important to note that the claims of market manipulation and other allegations lack concrete evidence. However, they do highlight the intense scrutiny of criticism he faces, which shows that his efforts to regulate the crypto world are highly disputable and subject to debate. Recently, Gensler has set his sights on major players within the crypto industry. Coinbase, Ripple, and Binance have all faced regulatory challenges. Coinbase was accused of operating unlawfully. Ripple is embroiled in an ongoing lawsuit regarding the status of its digital token, XRP, and Binance recently received multiple civil charges from the SEC. As Gensler's regulatory campaign continues, dissenting voices have grown louder. Crypto industry leaders, including Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong, argue that U.S. strict approach may drive innovation to more crypto-friendly nations.
Chair Gensler, I have a lot of questions and a limited amount of time, so if you can keep your answers to either a yes or a no, that will allow us to get through as many as possible, sir. From your perspective, is it more difficult now for the digital asset industry to access financial products and services in the United States than it was, say, 2 years ago?
Sir, I'm not running one of those businesses. If they came into compliance, I think
Reclaiming my time. The answer, sir, is yes. Do you think you and the SEC have had a role to play in that?
I think we have a role to protect the American investor and the capital markets. And
Reclaiming my time, sir. You have played an obvious role in that. During your tenure at the SEC, how many rules has the SEC finalized that actually accommodate the existing regulatory framework and are specifically to the digital asset industry so the crypto market can come into compliance?
It's their rule books that are on the books for years, so we have not finalized any new rule specifically with regard to crypto. We've proposed some things in best execution. We've also...
Sir, reclaiming my time, the answer is 0. And how many enforcement actions has the SEC levied against digital asset companies during your tenure, sir?
I think it's probably 40 or 50.
The answer, sir, is about 55. My understanding is that the biggest crypto failure in history is probably FTX at $9 billion. Were you the chairman of the SEC when FTX collapsed?
Yes.
And how many times did you meet with FTX prior to their collapse?
I think my public record shows 2.
You met it with FTX at least twice. And arguably, the second biggest crypto failure in history was Terra Luna. Who was the chairman of the SEC when Terra Luna collapsed, sir?
We had brought...
You were, sir. Reclaiming my time, you were. There are 5 members on the commission. Do you believe your speeches and interviews are to serve as the official position of the SEC?
I can only speak for myself when I'm speaking.
Again, sir, in a statement on the SEC website, you are quoted saying, "The Kraken staking as a service enforcement action should make clear to the marketplace that staking as a service providers must register." But again, you haven't provided any rules for how that can be done. I must remind you, your public statements are not regulations. It's not responsible to expect the American people to assume your statements are a substitute for rules. Do you agree with this statement regarding the digital asset industry? The SEC needs additional congressional authorities to prevent transactions, products, and platforms from falling between the regulatory cracks.
I think that it's a largely non-compliant field.
Sir, again, I asked you to comply with my questions, and I'm asking you if you agree with that quote. And I'm going to tell you, I'm quoting you from an August 3rd, 2021 article where you, and I believe you told Congressman Hill earlier that you need congressional authority to regulate stablecoins, and stablecoins happen to be a significant percentage of the crypto market. So the question is, when were you telling the truth? To Mr. Hill or to me? You've got to start answering these questions in a more transparent manner, sir. Does it concern you, by the way, that your approach to the digital asset industry is actually driving this industry out of the United States?
Trying to drive it to compliance, and if they're not complying with the laws, then they shouldn't be offering their products.
Reclaiming my time. Madam Chair, I would like to enter into the record this Wall Street Journal article from April 14th, 2023, detailing China's ploy to open its banking system to crypto firms in an effort to seize an opportunity created by our hostile regulatory environment, which, Mr. Chair, you're a big part of.
Without
Look,
objection.
Chair Gensler, FTX was domiciled abroad and so is Binance, yet American consumers still had access to both. You can't really think that pushing this industry abroad is going to protect American consumers when it hasn't several times in the past on your watch. You say the crypto market is rife with non-compliance. However, existing SEC rules make no sense for blockchain-based companies, and following them would actually kill these businesses. Your regulatory style lacks flexibility and nuance, and as a result, you've been an incompetent cop on the beat, doing nothing to protect everyday Americans and pushing American firms into the hands of the CCP. Your intention to work against SEC mission and put American investors in harm's way has been made very apparent, sir. It's been a year and a half since you've appeared before this committee. You need to answer to Congress about the issues that you've had with the SEC staff union, the work environment you've cultivated at the SEC that's led to hemorrhaging of senior staff, the intellectual inconsistency of your regulatory treatment towards Bitcoin spot ETFs, and your politicization of capital formation opportunities
Gentleman's time
your
has
treatment of
expired.
certain specs. And that's just to name a few.
The mounting discontent against Gensler's leadership has reached a tipping point, with Congressman Warren Davidson proposing legislation to remove Gensler as the SEC chair. This bill aims to redistribute power within the SEC and prioritize the protection of investors' interests. In summary, while controversies persist and claims of market manipulation lack strong supporting evidence, it's important to approach Gensler's actions with a critical eye. The intense scrutiny and criticism he faces raises concerns about political conflicts of interest and a regulatory approach that some perceive as overly stringent. It's crucial to engage in open dialogue and hold regulators accountable to ensure fair and transparent rules that foster innovation while safeguarding investors. As the crypto industry continues to evolve, the actions and decisions of regulators like Gensler will significantly impact its future. Therefore, it's imperative to remain vigilant and actively participate in shaping of the regulatory landscape.